You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. And more specifically, we're going to talk about Antonio Pierce and Mike Vrabel. Now, a lot of us are wondering what the hell is going on with the Raiders right now. And the rumor mill is really starting to kick up. All right. And the other day I did a video. Well, I've done a couple of videos. You guys know I tend to do about one Raiders video a day. Every other day at the absolute max of me stretching it. But there was a rumor the other day about Vrabel and the Raiders, and I did a video on it. But then it started to look like after the Rooney Rule got complied with, Antonio Pierce was about to be named the coach. He even made an appearance the other day wearing Raiders paraphernalia. It just looked like, and you could tell from his demeanor, it was like, I know something you guys don't know. I'm about to be the coach. Yay! Raiders Nation was going to love that. But here we are, and guys, in a coaching cycle, 24 hours is a long time. And we're about 48 hours removed from that. And now this Mike Vrabel thing has popped up again. And one of the things we was covering was the connection between Tom Brady. Eventually, I believe, no matter what, Tom Brady will be a minority owner of this team. I've already done videos where we talked about the fact that, you know, from a football standpoint and a friendship standpoint, Mark Davis and Tom Brady are very, very tight. There's no way that Mark Davis is not talking to Tom Brady about what it is he should do from a hiring standpoint. Now, we know where the fan base stands and we know where the players stand. They want Antonio Pierce. But Mark Davis has also said he wants to take a big swing. That's what he's told other people, all right? So, Mike Vrabel's out there. Mike Vrabel and Tom Brady, and I talked about this the other day in my video, Tom Brady, Mark Davis are very tight, all right? This was the article right here that I used. Albert Breer come out and said it. If Brady does give input, Breer imagines he would strongly vouch for former Patriots teammate Mike Vrabel as a strong choice for the Las Vegas job. All right, and if he's eventually going to be tied in with ownership there, Vrabel makes a lot of sense. Brady and Vrabel are known to be close, and Breer believes Vrabel would be at the top of any list Brady presented to Raiders ownership. All right, now, in case you're wondering, Mike Vrabel's record, prior to the A.J. Brown trade, because the wheels fell off after that trade. He didn't want that trade to happen. He knew what it was going to do to his offense. He was right. It wrecked it. Prior to that, 12-5, 11-5, 9-7, 9-7, 2-3 in the playoffs. Guy's a good coach. All right, guy's a real good coach. And you always have the outside possibility of Derrick Henry ending up being a Raider. All right, if this was to happen. So, enter in Florio. All right, and Florio said the following. Quote, I was saying throughout the final weeks of the regular season that Mark Davis needs to learn from his mistake he made 2 years ago when he didn't keep Bisaccia and Mike Mayock after they led the team through some pretty dysfunctional times. Henry Ruggs, something we haven't talked about a lot that I used to cover a lot. A whole lot. I mean, I probably made 25 Henry Ruggs videos. But, you know, that was a massive piece of the dysfunction from that season. Bisaccia kept the team together. This is the scariest part. If you are an Antonio Pierce fan, and he's your guy, this is the scariest part of this entire video that I'm going to read. The word on the NFL streets over the weekend, when you start connecting dots, was Vrabel to the Raiders. Tom Brady is ultimately involved in the team, even though his attempt to purchase 5 to 10% of the franchise has yet to be approved. It might never be. It will be, eventually. But he is involved, and he and Vrabel are tight. So will Mark Davis hold firm with what we feel like Antonio Pierce has deserved, or will he be tempted to make a bigger splash with Jim Harbaugh or Mike Vrabel? And what has really brought this to light even harder now is the fact that the Rooney Rule has been satisfied. So all these hours have went by since the Rooney Rule has been checked off. And normally, if you've got your guy and the Rooney Rule's been checked off, you present your guy. You name him. All right? You hand it over to Schefter or Rappaport or Garofalo or Pelissero or Albert Breer or one of these guys. All right? To come out, make their little splash report. Antonio Pierce has been hired by the by the Las Vegas Raiders as head coach. He gets the permanent job. That hasn't happened yet. And tie in this little nugget from PFF, Gordon McGinnis, that the Raiders should target Josh Uche in free agency. Now, where did Uche play? The New England Patriots. Uche played in 15 games for the Patriots last season, racking up 3 sacks as a defensive end and linebacker. That was a far cry from the 2022 season where he had 11.5 sacks and 14 quarterback hits. There's no doubt that Uche would be a solid depth guy for the Raiders and help with pass rush in a big way. He's going to cost some money. But once again, that's another tie to the Patriots. Look, the Raiders aren't getting away from this Patriot thing too awful much as long as Tom Brady is as heavily involved as he is. Look no further than the ownership between Mark Davis and Brady and that WNBA team that Mark Davis owns, that Tom Brady now owns a stake in as well. This is getting very interesting. All right, I think when this process started, Harbaugh said, well, let me put out feelers to Harbaugh, see where that's going to go. But then unexpectedly, Mike Vrabel got involved into this or shot into it. Nobody thought Vrabel was getting fired, and then boom, he's out there. He's on the market. Pete Carroll's another one. But it's strange. I checked literally at 2 o'clock Central Time. I checked to make sure that Pierce hadn't gotten the job. And he hadn't. Now, Mike Vrabel interviewed just a couple hours ago with the LA Chargers. He's supposed to talk to the Falcons. He's supposed to talk to the Seahawks. But if he's a guy that Brady really likes, and look, Vrabel's got sort of the same kind of thing about him as Antonio Pierce, all right? He's a hard ass. He's an ex-player, a player's coach, loves his guys. We've all seen various videos of Vrabel carrying on with either ex-players or current players. A guy that loved having A.J. Brown on the team. He recognizes that you need a badass wide receiver and was pissed off when Robinson traded him. If you're a Raiders fan, the longer this goes, the more nervous you need to get. All right? Because I don't get why Antonio Pierce hasn't been named the coach already. There was word from Adam Schefter it was about to happen. Well, why hasn't it happened? And with Vrabel floating around out there, that's in Harbaugh too. It would not shock me out of nowhere if, boom, Harbaugh is the coach of the Raiders. Or Vrabel. But, man, I don't know where the players are going to be. Max Crosby, Devontae Adams are going to be livid. Your best wide receiver, your best defensive player are going to be irate if you do not let this Antonio Pierce thing happen. They may both want out. Now, some fans, there are a contingent of fans out there that are like, let him go. Get the best coach first. I do tend to agree with that, but I think Antonio Pierce has done enough. He had done enough. The hard part about this is he had done enough, but you didn't know you were going to look up and see Harbaugh and Vrabel and Carroll and Belichick. We kind of knew Belichick was going to be on the market. That was the thing. when Josh McDaniels was fired, nobody knew these big, massive coaching names were going to be out there. Mark Davis didn't know that either. And I think that's given him something to think about, because a lot of people wondered, well, is Harbaugh really going to leave Michigan? Well, I think he's really leaving Michigan this time, which has given a lot of football clubs some real pause before they've pulled the trigger on naming a coach. Tell me what you think. If you're a Raiders fan, how nervous are you getting when Florio, and I've heard him use the term, the word on the internet streets, that phrase, I've heard him use it before. And it's usually after something has happened, and he goes, yeah, I knew it was coming. I had already been told, and he uses that phrase. The word on the internet streets the last couple of days was blah. He says the word on the streets, connecting the dots, Vrabel to the Raiders. Yikes. That means multiple people are hearing that now. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.